catch up. But guys, what's up? It is about 2:40 p.m. on this Friday. Just got out of work about minutes ago. Walking to my bus stop at Walmart. Today was really interesting. This week was kind of interesting. Was kind of interesting in its own way because, of course, as I live stream on Monday. Basically, as I talked about on Monday morning, that is, in a live stream, they let us out early due to the fact that the power outage last weekend caused everything to kind of fall behind. So it fell behind, and then on Friday, and then on Tuesday, we were pretty much back to speed. Most of Tuesday we were pretty much back to speed, doing, being in stripping. Myself and the people that I hired with me, along with some newer hirees, we were in stripping and cleaning of the trucks, if you will. And then we were doing the same on Wednesday, but then after Wednesday, we got sent over to do totes, if you will, or so we thought we were doing totes. We did something. I don't know what it was. No, we did totes. We did totes is what we did on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we were stripping trucks again. And myself and this other girl were not even halfway through with the trucks we were working on, because when you strip trucks or you work on trucks of any kind, sometimes you get a truck order yourself, and it isn't until later on that you might get some help because, hey, you're only one person and it's a big truck. So for me, I had a big truck, a very big truck, and I was working on it. It was just one truck. It was just one truck, because I did multiple trucks. I think 2 or 3 on Wednesday and Tuesday, actually. Tuesday. But on yesterday, I was doing a big old truck, right? And for a while, it was just me. And then, I was given some help. But then as I got this help, myself and somebody. No, actually, let me back that up. Okay, let me back that up. So you could tell I'm kind of tired. I'm getting kind of getting my dates and events mixed up, if you will. But let's see, Wednesday we stripped some trucks. Tuesday we spent the whole day stripping trucks, because everybody was pretty much catching up to, what was delayed because of the power outage on Monday. Well, the power outage the previous weekend that caused us to be given the voluntary option to go home early and stuff. And then on Tuesday, like I said, we were stripping the trucks and catching up, if you will. All departments were. Then on Wednesday, we did some stripping. And then, like I said, it was during this that myself and another girl and a few other people got sent in the middle of us finishing our trucks. Because a lot of us, as I was saying, individually had some big trucks to do. And while we were in the process of, being close to being done with them, we got sent over to do totes. Regular Pictolite, whatever they call totes. The totes of the Pactolite area. So we did that. And then yesterday, myself and another girl, instead of doing stripping, we were taken over to the what's known as the high-tech area of receiving, high-tech area of receiving. And what we were doing was doing a trans freight is what we would do. We were doing trans freight. And what that meant was we were taking freight and stuff from one truck and transferring it over to another. we were transferring over to another to I guess go to its destination or something. That's what we were doing. And me and this girl would take turns because we were also working with a girl that, that's kind of been in that area, that department for a while, kind of knows what to do. So and that girl would basically scan the boxes, make sure all of them are right, nothing's wrong with them, stuff like that. And so me and this other girl that are usually in stripping, we got sent over there for most of yesterday doing trans freight, because what we would do, like I was saying, we were sent over there, to transfer from one truck to another. So that's what me and this one girl did for most of the day, yesterday. Then today, because myself and her pretty much got a hint of what was going to happen yesterday, today we got sent over to shipping. And after we were giving after we were kind of given the less I guess you could say the how do I put it, the how to speech, the kind of like how to stuff, how to speech, what to look out for, stuff like that. We started working. We kind of worked with this one guy who actually lives in Newman like I do. But anyway, we were, like I said, we were doing receiving today. Me and this girl that was doing the transfer in receiving yesterday, we were doing shipping today, basically. And after the first break, her lunch, if you will, because the way the schedule worked this week was kind of weird, and it's going to be the same next week, because what they're doing, I guess, to make up for the fact that people were allowed to go home early on Monday and everything, they want to make up the time, especially getting close to the holidays. They're essentially giving what's known as VTI, or VTA, whatever it's called, VTA, and that's basically the opposite of VTO. VTO, voluntary time off, is when basically, you get time off to you get time off to essentially, if it's approved, you get time off to basically go home and just relax or go and do whatever you want to do. You don't have to work. VTI, on the other hand, is voluntary time in, or VTA, voluntary time available, whatever you want to call it. And that's basically where you volunteer to come in at a certain time, come in at a certain time, or stay to a certain time. So, for example, my oldest sister, who didn't work today because she has to watch her granddaughter, because her daughter, my niece, my oldest niece, if you will, the oldest out of the nephews and nieces, if you will, my niece, my great niece's mom, is going to be a maid of honor at her best friend's wedding in San Diego. So instead of taking the baby with them, they're deciding to leave the baby with her grandma, my sister, because it's San Diego and they don't want to have to deal with any kind of stress. That being my niece and her fiance. Anyway, long story short, like I said, to make up for the time that was given, people will that was offered, I should say, to allow people to have most of Monday off, and everything. To make up for that, they went and did they're doing VTI or VTA, and people, like I said, can volunteer if they want to basically clock in early, which would be like a 4 o'clock, or stay 2 hours later, which I assume would be 4:30. That's my assumption. Clock in 2 hours early instead of 6, clock in at 4, or stay until 4:30 or 3:30, whatever it is. That's just my assumption. That's just what my assumption on, how VTI works from clocking in or staying later kind of deal. That's how I look at it. And yeah, it was. So yeah, it was. So yeah, they basically offered that to a lot of people. And the girl I was working with yesterday, that I would work with along with others in stripping of the trucks and everything. The girl I was working with yesterday, in the high tech area of receiving, trans freight, and as well as today working with her in shipping. She would come in at 4. She was one of those people that volunteered to come in at 4. So she would basically have her lunch. She would have her first break like around 6, like when I would get there. When I would start to clock in for the day. Me and others that that like to do regular 6 to 2:30, we would clock in. At that time. We'd clock in at that time and everything. And she and others that volunteered to go in at 4, like my sister did, would go on the first break. They would go on the first break and everything. And then around 8:45, they would go on the lunch. And then 15 minutes later, we'd go to our break. The 4 o'clockers would go to lunch at 8:45, then 6 o'clockers would go to break around 9, and it would work out to where we'd all show back up at the same time. Same with lunch. Same with my lunch. I go at 10:45 for lunch. She goes at 11 for, break. We both come back at the same time. So today, today after the first break and her coming back from lunch, we essentially finally got to, even though we still had help by the guy that also lives in Newman, like me, helping us out. Basically, we were allowed to, do our own thing. We were able to work on the trucks by ourselves. And what happened was, I think it was after my lunch and her second break, because if they come in at 4, they get 3 breaks. Her last break would have been at 1 along with me. So she had to go home early, though. She left early. I don't know if she had to go home because something happened, or she had school, classes, I don't know. Anyway, she leaves early, and hold on for a second. Across the street here. And anyway, what happens, like I said, is after lunch, and before my last break, which would have been her last break as well, her third break would have been my second break, she leaves early. And she leaves early because of whatever reasons. Either she had an emergency, or she probably most likely had class to attend or something. She goes home early, or she leaves early, so I'm left with doing the trucks. Well, most of the trucks, along with the guy that, also is from Newman helping me out. And what's pretty cool about this is I get a compliment. Now, I don't know if this is just standard to really motivate, the new hirees, because they'll go a couple of people like into race or something, I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. But like I was saying, I got a compliment today, and I don't know if it's just something they do to motivate the new hirees and all that. But I got this compliment before the girl left. And pretty much they said that the way I was doing some wall stacking, they said it was probably the best they've seen in a while, because there are some, and as the guy that was training us was going from truck to truck, there was some walls pretty much from last night Hold on for a sec. Hold on for a second. Sorry about that. But like I said, there were some walls from last night that, in the trucks that were not, decently done. So, I just listened. I would ask questions. I asked questions. The same with the girl. She did the same thing. But, we just listened, paid attention, and we're like, okay, this, if that's how it goes, good. So, anyway, getting back to what I was saying, I got a compliment, on how well I was doing. How well my walls, how good the walls that I was building with the boxes and everything were turning out. And they said this is probably the best they've seen, from even those that, have been here for a decade or longer. So yeah, that was, again, I don't know if that's just something they say to motivate the new hirees because, hey, this is a new area you're in and you want to make sure they do the best, or it's because it was legit. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments or live chat. But anyway, yeah, that's basically what happened. So again, getting back to what I was saying, after they gave me that, they come back moments later and say, "Hey, we got a situation here, and so we're gonna issue you a challenge." And I was like, I'm thinking, what's the challenge, right? I'm thinking, what's the challenge? The challenge is I had to take over the girls' trucks. The girl that was working with me, I had to take over her trucks due to the fact that, like I said, she had to go home early, and I do apologize for the wind. She had to go home early, so I had to take over her trucks. And, that's what I did. I took over her trucks, and I think I did pretty good because the way I looked at it, and they did agree this is probably the best method to do, the way I looked at it was just do little by little. Like if you have a wall to build with the boxes, build that little by little, and then go to the next truck. Because the one thing you want to make sure of is you want to make sure the red light does not go on too much or even blink. Because when the red light goes on or it blinks, that means something's stuck. So like when it goes on, full on like a red light on a traffic signal, basically that means, something is, it's too full. Like it has to have stuff, it has to have boxes moved and everything to resume, to go, if you will. Or if it's blinking, if you will, that means something's stuck on the conveyor belt that's leading and connecting to the conveyor belt to the truck. So yeah, you want to avoid those, but they showed us what to do, and pretty much I think I did pretty good. Now, from what it sounds like, they're going to have me and this girl probably in shipping for the next couple of days, Monday and Tuesday. Don't know about the rest of the week, but we'll see. I think they're doing this, and the reason they're doing it this way is to get everybody that's being hired, familiar with these different departments. No matter how limited I am, being there, because this is seasonal, that when the time comes and everything, that, we'll be able to know how to work certain areas because we'll be trained in them. We'll be cross-trained. So that's pretty much, what I was doing. But yeah, that was pretty much what I was doing today and throughout this week. Basically, started out with VTO. Hey, that's great. Then just started out and then continued on Tuesday and somewhat Wednesday as normal, being in stripping and everything. And then it really changed up yesterday and today. So things are definitely changing because they need a lot of people in these areas, especially with the holidays fast approaching and people, getting ready to do a lot of Christmas shopping, holiday shopping as well. So, gonna need a lot of people there. Now, I don't know. Again, I don't know how long I'm going to be. My sister is assuming it's going to be at least mid-November, December, because that's when they die down. But I don't know. You know, she's talking about, hey, they may keep her son, they may keep her husband. Well, mostly her son because they like him. They think he's awesome at what he does. And, you know, she even said, yeah, they might keep you, but it might be a little different. Like the hours may not agree. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I look at it this way. If I am kept and I'm able to keep the hours I have now, it'll mostly be like a part-time deal. And what I mean is I'll have full 8.5 hour days. It's just that I won't be working as much. Like I might work on, like, for example, I might work on Monday, but then won't work until Thursday. You know, stuff like that. That may happen. It may happen if they want to keep me. And jobs do that. You know, they test you out. They're like, yep, we're going to keep this person. And they say, okay, but this is what we got. But this is how we're going to work with your hours. And they work with you in a way that's beneficial for all. You know, it's beneficial for all. So, again, we'll see what happens in the long run. We'll see what happens in the long run, if you will. But yeah, you know, it's been an interesting week. Got paid early on Wednesday because of, you know, direct deposit. You know, that's pretty cool. And I got something. It came today. Hopefully, it's still there. That I've been wanting to get since its introduction. You know, almost 3 years ago this November. Yeah, that's the only clue I'm giving. That I got something that got introduced 3 years ago this November. And people are still trying to get their hands on it. And hopefully it's the right version. Because I paid about $500, you know, for it, plus a 3-year protection plan. You know, I paid basically $500 plus for it, just to ensure it's the version that that a lot of, you know, people want to have, and not the version that's like, well, you can still play the game, you can still play, you know, games and all that, but not from a physical standpoint. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say, guys, for right now. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. I'm actually going to have most of tomorrow to myself because my mom is going to be going with my sister, my oldest sister, and her husband, and her husband's father, I think. And, you know, she's taking, of course, because she's watching my great niece, taking my great niece as well to go see the A's and the Padres at the Coliseum. So yeah, I'm gonna have most of tomorrow to myself, which, you know, I cannot wait for, because, you know, you don't normally get to have Saturdays. You know, I don't. Well, not you, but mostly me. Don't get to have Saturdays to themselves all the time. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and that's all I'm gonna say. And right now, it looks like we might get another thunderstorm or something like that. You know, we might get another thunderstorm and everything. Or at least some kind of moisture, because we got some cumulus clouds building up thanks to the humidness, if you will. And how do I know it was humid? Let's just put it this way. You know, we got to wear sports stuff today, NFL stuff today, and I got a reward, and I got 100 points reward gift card. I don't know what that's about. I gotta ask my sister. 100 points reward card and everything. So yeah, that was pretty cool and everything. And got a group picture as well. I mean, what's funny is one of the supervisors there, one of the floor supervisors for the area I work in, well, the areas I work in, was kind of joking a little bit. Him and the first shift manager were kind of joking, going like, okay, all people with NFL apparel, come get your, come get your picture taken, or come and take the scoop shot with us. And then they would tease and say, oh, except for 49er fans. Because some of them were wearing cowboy jerseys or cowboy shirts, jerseys, or Patriots or Bengals or Steelers, you name it. Raiders, of course. So they were wearing that kind of apparel. And I guess they just wanted to tease because they knew a majority of everybody there would be wearing 49ers. So, and again, this is the outfit I wore. That's the outfit I wore. The shirt I wore. But anyway, that's pretty much what happened this week. And that's all I'm going to say, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. By the time I get home, hopefully my computer will be ready to be restarted or shut down to be ready to be updated and shut down, because it was still installing a feature update today, which was like, when I left was at 21%. So hopefully it's done by now. I don't know. It's one of the newer ones, but we'll see. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say, guys. As I try to check my time here. It won't let me check my time. But that's all. Oh, there it is. Okay, got plenty of time. But that's all I'm going to say, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you on this. And until next time. Just got a mosquito on me. Or it looks like a mosquito or something. It wasn't. But until next time, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.